and check it. Go ahead, Lindsay.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Board of Selectmen meeting, November 12th, 2025. We're here primarily to set the tax rate and then be out of here. So we'll do a quick pledge of allegiance and then on with the show.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All you, Beth.
Okay, so in front of you, the way I put it face down in front of you, it shows where the town stood. So for the 2025 proposed warrant, with their appropriations, sorry about that. So in each row, it shows each warrant article, and if it was grayed out, it means that it failed with the voters. If there's no fill, then it passed with the voters. So the fourth column shows what was approved, if there was any offsetting revenues, and then what we need to raise from taxation. So for the town's portion, so we had $10,671,111 approved. We had offsetting revenues of $5,398,588, which left what we need to raise from taxation, $5,272,523. So based on our assessed values, that's $4.01. The town also gives credits to veterans, so that will be an additional 18 cents to our tax rate. And then we need to apply an overlay, which is 1 penny. So our town tax rate, final tax effort is $4.20.
What's the overlay? Not that it's,
That's for abatements, so after the tax bills go out, we've assigned everyone an amount to be raised, and if someone appeals their value, and the Board of Selectmen approve an abatement for them, that means we're not receiving that money,
okay,
so we need to still raise it though.
okay,
So now it goes to everyone.
okay.
So on the other side, this is our projections, 2025 tax rate. At the end of 2024, our audited unassigned fund balance was $2,084,139. We did not use any to offset any warrant articles. So our available fund balance is $2,084,139. So in the first column, you'll see what the 2024 tax rate was. So the town's portion was $4.05. The local school was $13.84. The state ed was $1.43, and the county was $1.07. So last year's tax rate was $20.39. So going forward, we had that $17,500 from overlay that we have on the first page. So without using any fund balance, the total town tax rate would be $21.94. Because the town is $4.20, which was a 3.7% increase. The school had an 8.4% increase, so they went up to $15 per thousand. The state ed went to $1.44, so that went up 0.7%. And the county had a huge increase of 21.5%, so they went from $1.07 to $1.30 per thousand. So again, if we don't use any fund balance, our town tax rate is $21.94. Now, the state requires that we keep at least 5 to 17% of our fund balance available, because our expenses for the whole town is $28,521,675. So they would like us to keep between 5 and 17% of that on hand. So if we don't use any of our fund balance, we are left with a 6.14% retainage. As you can see in column A, or projection A. So if we don't use any fund balance, we're left with 6.14% retainage. Column B is if we use $45,000 of our fund balance, we're left with a 6% retainage. Now we can only apply this to the town portion. The school, the state, and the county has already been set in stone, so we can only apply our fund balance to our tax portion of the town tax rate. In projection C, we're left with 5.75% retainage, but we'd be using 130% of our fund balance. In projection D, we're left with 5.58% retainage, but we'd be using $190,000 of our fund balance. This projection D, brings the town tax rate to $4.05, which it was in 2024. So that would bring us back to last year's tax rate, only on the town portion side. Projection E, we're left with 5.25% retainage, and we'd be using $300,000 of our fund balance. And then projection F would be the minimal 5% retainage, and we'd have to use $385,000 of our fund balance. I couldn't do a projection that would get us back to, last year's tax rate of $20.39, because we don't have enough fund balance to do that. So those are your projections. You got a lot of questions, Jack.
Well, I just want to ask,
Yep.
so I'm clear. This fund balance is for what purpose? Future disasters we may have to cover?
Okay, when we use the word fund balance, a lot of people think it's like money in the bank. It is not. What a fund balance is at the end of the year, if all our liabilities are paid, all our receivables are received, what would we have left over? Now, that's in a great world. We have at least $300,000 of uncollected taxes at any given time. So we already account for, like, we're not going to receive $100,000 of taxes. So it's not money in the bank. It's a snapshot of December 31st, 2024. So the fund balance changes daily. It changes hourly. The electricity we're using right now, we haven't paid for it yet. We're not going to pay for it till next month. So that will change what is in our fund balance. It's what is owed to us and what is owed from us. If everything was paid off as of December 31st, 2024, how much money would we have left over?
You're saying we could absorb up to, for instance, 5%. We could absorb up to 5% of delinquent taxes?
Correct, or everything.
Just want to make sure I understand.
Yeah.
And what do we traditionally run?
Well, in the years past, there's a section right down here. Sorry, the projector's not working. So in 2020, our percentage retained was 5%. And that was using some money
It's a column in the middle.
to offset. 2021, at the end of the year, we had 6.32% retained. And that was the selectmen using 600,000. So, and then it was 5% in 22, 3.69% in 23, and then last year we retained 5%.
For instance, why did they retain 6.2 on 2021? What was the purpose of having more than 5%? They anticipated a bunch of stuff that wasn't going to get paid?
Well, they used 600,000, and they didn't want to drain the availability of fund balance.
I think it was false if we were gonna, I also, Jack, think that was an odd year. 2021 was the last evaluation year, so we did our best. And that's why we ended up keeping, because your rate goes up, the rate goes down, the other stays, your assessments goes up, the rate goes down. That was in 2021. So I'm thinking that they weren't sure what we were gonna be. We're gonna have another reevaluation in 2026.
So 5% would be roughly of our 9 million budget, roughly $450,000. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What does the 5% represent? Are we holding back $450,000 in anticipation of not getting paid at January 1st?
No, so our tax season is messed up, all right?
We're off by,
We're calendar year budget, tax year's
Right.
offset. So the way we collect taxes is we collect them July. Now, we've already had 7 months of our budget before July comes, before we even get our first lump of money. And then we get our second lump of money in December, when our budget's over. Now, if we were a fiscal year, we'd start our budget July 1st, we'd get a big chunk middle of July, and then 6 months later, we get the other large chunk,
so this is your
halfway
flow.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, just,
yeah.
so I understand the term. Okay,
Yep.
got it now. I'm trying to figure out what that was.
Unfortunately, we get our tax money at the end of our budget season, so.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
So this is a flow-through lumpy receipts
Yeah,
and some drizzling in receipts
yes,
beyond the
and we
lump?
pay the school every month,
Got it.
so.
Now I understand.
So where do you wanna be?
Well, can we make it with 5? I mean, is there any danger? How much, I mean, it just feels like just between 6.6 and 5. How much real money is that?
It's 30 cents.
Yeah.
No, how much real money in terms of buying power? How many dollars is that? That's all I
So
want.
the money you retain from your tax rate setting, you can't use to offset future warrant articles.
That's not what I'm asking.
I know, I'm just letting you know that. So usually, we try to keep our tax rate the same. So last year was $4.05 for the town, so we'd like to keep it similar because we don't want the tax rate to be spiking.
But what I'm trying to get at is, I don't understand this question, but the answer is, how much money do we have protection, if you will, between 5% and 6.14?
Well, since we have $2,084,000, and you, if 5% would be using 385 of that, you're only left with 1.7 million.
So we basically have, at 5%, $1.7 million as a cushion.
Do you, but it's a lot of it's all unpaid taxes too.
I understand, I'm just trying to figure out.
Late
So what is
taxes,
unpaid
unpaid
taxes
taxes.
running?
That's a lot of unpaid
So
taxes.
how much do they run a year? at any one
Usually
time?
about, well, because the way our tax,
Sure, just.
that's, as of December 31st, the tax bills were just due, so there's a lot
Like, what's
unpaid.
a lot?
Oh, usually about 400,000.
We've been
Okay.
up to 900,000 one year.
Yeah.
Okay, now I understand. I just want to
That's
know what
correct.
the probability of,
5% retained is 1.7 million. What's the 6.14 retainage?
2 point, all of it. If you don't use any money from your fund balance,
I'm sorry, yep.
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 see, it
Beyond.
seems like 5%'s got a huge margin to it over reality of.
So the number we really need to look at is the bottom, the total tax rate.
correct.
Yeah.
So
Well, but-
we're either gonna pay 6.1% more if we drop it down to 5% retainage,
Yep,
or if we don't use any, our tax rates are gonna go up 7.6%.
correct.
There's the number you need.
Perfect, yep.
I'm in
We're going
favor
from
of, personally,
$21.94 to $21.64. So you're saving 30 cents if you use all your fund balance.
I know people are getting raises this year that are 2%, 1%, 1.5%. I'm kinda in favor of making that percentage spike for this year the lowest we can. So
That's what
I'm
I
in
was
favor.
pushing on, because I want to know how much we're.
Yeah. I'm in favor of using, what is that, 385 out of the fund?
Option F.
What's that?
Option F.
Option F. I mean,
And we'd be safe because we're still at the 5% that we need to, from the state, required to keep.
if these lower numbers were lower, if we were only increasing a percentage or 3, we tried to keep it within 3, then I'd say we didn't really need to use much of the fund balance. But because the rate's gone up so much, I think personally for me, I'm thinking we use as much of the fund balance as we can to give as much as a break in the tax rate as possible. That's my thinking on it.
I'll say it a different way. It appears we have a lot of margin if we picked a 5. So I'm happy to go with 5 because I'm really not worried about the tax rate per se. I'm worried about, does the town have enough money for float? And the answer is almost 2 to 3 to 1 over what we would probably anticipate. So I would go with the 5.
What do you mean the 5?
5%. He's
5%.
on your boat. He's on your boat.
This 5.
I'm on your vote. I'm supporting you in a different
He just
logical
doesn't
way.
Feel comfortable with that one?
Oh, yeah, yep.
Your GPS got a different direction than mine.
This
I'm coming at it
5%
from a
right here.
business,
okay.
not an
Yeah.
economic.
Well,
I
what
just,
the-
I'm just gonna throw this out there. I was looking at D and I'll tell you why. I said, cause we got nothing. I say it tongue in cheek, we got a default, we didn't get our annual warrant articles. But now, we're gonna give back, we're gonna make our 405 now 390, and then, so they go to the voting booth next year and say, well, you didn't need this one, why didn't you need the next one? And we're gonna try to get a budget passed. You can't, we're looking at taking it from ours, because that's what we can give, the others can't give us back. So if you went to option D at $4.05, you're still keeping your tax rate the same, and we survived. But if you drop us down to 390 and then we're on our second year of default, what are you gonna go to the third year of default? Because you were able to give us back money still on a default. That's,
I mean, I
that's
can,
my say.
I can see the logic in that, because it keeps the town portion the
We
same.
did our job.
I understand that part. But we're taking it pretty hard
Oh, yeah.
from the county
Totally,
and the school.
totally.
I mean,
That's why I said I'd just say my piece, I don't have a vote.
yeah,
so.
But that just means we don't have to put so much money next year into it to fund a 5%. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't do us
You
any
may have
good.
more unpaid taxes too, right?
But still,
If you keep the increase.
but we've got to, just so I got it correct, okay? We've got almost 2.5, 3 to 1 with 5% buffer before we have to go to the bank, if you will, and DRA goes and Beth's hair catches on fire. So we can't spend the extra money on D. It's just available for us next year to make the 5% if we want to do 5%.
Yeah, absolutely, you
Okay.
can, it'll carry into next year if you wanna do more, so it's, that's.
So I'm still with
And
you.
I'm not, you guys set the rate, I'm just saying,
I know.
that what's it gonna look like, you know, where we got almost all no's and we still gave you back $385,000 out of the town, that's all. I'm just being stingy on my part,
But-
because that's the one we can control.
But if
We
I got
can't
it,
control the
but
others.
if I got it correct, this first year I've ever done this, if we got a default budget,
Yep.
and we have full employment,
Yep.
we're gonna be in the hole $400,000, okay, meaning, so we're gonna have to start robbing operating budgets, okay, or start laying people off, am I correct? To
Debt
make-
service, something,
So,
sure.
and then at the end of the year, if we have 0 to contribute to the 5%,
Yeah.
then we're actually below 5%. That becomes a problem. But,
Yeah, listen, I only gave you my 2 cents, because.
but I'm just trying to understand the
I'm free to
logic.
ask,
I'm
too.
not arguing with them, I'm just trying to
Yeah.
understand the
No,
logic.
and I understand his, because we see people that are.
Oh, no, I
need
don't,
help.
I'm not
I get
arguing
it.
with that, I'm just looking at, are we putting the town at risk at 5%? It doesn't appear to be.
No, it doesn't.
what are the ramifications for going below the 5%? Are we fined or sanctioned in some
DRA
way?
doesn't want us, right?
I mean, I see in '23, we were at
We went.
3.69.
Yeah, and
Which
we
is a
had,
lot.
And
we had to watch it carefully.
What happens when that?
Well, in that year, that was just coming off of the funding from the federal government, all the ARPA money and everything.
Oh, okay,
So it was, we knew, and the state knew it was coming in.
okay.
We just wasn't coming in through local.
That's not a real number then,
right,
per se. yeah.
No, because we used a lot of
What
non-local
was it really?
money.
Was it more like 6? With all that COVID money?
Probably a little less.
A little
I'd
less than
say, yeah.
6? It was over 5?
It was
though.
over 5.
yeah,
Okay.
I hear 2 in favor of
yeah, go ahead.
F. Is there, is James Bruce have anything?
Well, I had a couple of questions still.
Okay.
In 2024, looks like they dropped it down to 5%. Right?
Yeah.
By retaining 100, well, by using $178,000.
Correct.
What's that 263, the unexpended?
That was, there was a warrant article that would use some of this fund balance to offset it. So this was considered, they used some of this fund balance as a revenue offsetting, one of the warrant articles.
So when you write your warrant articles, you can say X amounts coming from the undesignated fund balance, and those articles were approved with using that, and then on top of that, we used an additional $178,000 when we set the tax rate.
And it is
to 5%.
something you can do sometimes.
But we
You can
raised
do
the
that too with
taxes.
your articles.
But we raised the taxes this year to do that.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, it just,
we don't have control over it, we have one line that we can control.
So in another few weeks, we would have that option when we write warrant articles.
When you write warrant articles, you
To say
still
we
have the
wanna buy
option of taking money from your fund
car or
balance,
whatever.
right, and offsetting your warrant articles.
Okay. Now, we dropped it down to 5% last year, and then in the year, we've essentially, if we do the same thing this year, drop it down to 5%, we're $385,000 that is ahead of last year, kind of. I mean, the difference between, last year we dropped it down to the minimum 5%. This year, if we do the same thing, that means we give them back $385,000. So we gained $385,000 this year. Right?
24, if you add the two
Yep.
together, yeah. Yeah, no, you're right, yeah.
So when I say it's the audited unassigned fund balance, so as of December 31st, 2024, this was the number, because what we spent, because after the close of the year, then you can see what we spent, and then if our revenues were higher, so it's our surplus would go into this fund balance. So that's why it's higher than the previous year.
Now, does this amount include the tax sale that we had?
Because that's 25.
Okay.
You're working on the 24.
Yes.
Okay.
So it includes a little bit of it, because when we set, on the first side, the operating budget, so what was approved was $8,900,000.
Mhm.
The, less the revenues, $4,098,000, some of your auction money was in there.
Yeah.
So that's what, we increased our revenues, so then it decreased our overall, what we needed to spend, actual expenditures. Comments?
Anybody else? James? I know Benji's got another meeting to go to, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with the 5%.
We're talking pennies, you know.
Oh, yeah.
From, on the one line.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm fine with that.
Really, the change is gonna be 30 cents for every 1,000. So it'll go to 390 instead of 420. If we, it's 15 cents. If we, it's 390 instead of 405.
You're decreasing.
It sounds like we certainly got a majority up there. Does anybody want to make a motion on it?
I'll make a motion, we reduce the fund balance to minimum allowed, 5%.
So your motion is to expend 385, option F?
Yes.
I can second that.
Does that verbiage work for you?
Yes.
Any other comments where we make a vote? All right, we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
All right, hang on. Let's shut this down.
Any other business
Anything,
tonight?
anything else you wanna? Okay.
Not today.
I wanna leave.
Well, yeah, you're gonna make a motion to adjourn.
We all set? All right, I have a motion to adjourn. Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, everybody.